if we could just linger on that topic a little bit. We already talked about your blog post of I fired myself. I fired Bryan, the evening Bryan, who's too willing to not making good decisions for the long-term well-being and happiness of the entirety of the organism. Basically, you were like pigging out at night, but it's interesting because I do the same. In fact, I often eat one meal a day, and like I have been this week actually, and especially when I travel. And it's funny that it never occurred to me to just basically look at the fact that I'm able to be much smarter about my eating decisions in the morning and the afternoon than I am at night. So if I eat one meal a day, why not eat that one meal a day in the morning? Like it never occurred to me. This revolutionary until you've outlined that. So maybe can you give some details and what this is just you. This is one person, Bryan, arrived at a particular thing that they do, but it's fascinating to kind of look at this one particular case study. So what works for you diet-wise? What's your actual diet? What do you eat? How often do you eat?
My current protocol is basically the result of thousands of experiments and decision making. So I do this every 90 days. I do the tests. I do the cycle throughs. Then I measure again, and then I'm measuring all the time. And so what I of course am optimizing for my biomarkers. I want perfect cholesterol, and I want perfect blood glucose levels and perfect DNA methylation, processes. I also want perfect sleep. And so, for example, recently, in the past 2 weeks, my resting heart rate has been at 42 when I sleep. And when my resting heart rate is at 42, my HRV is at its highest. And I wake up in the morning feeling more energized than any other configuration. And so I know from all these processes that eating at roughly 8:30 in the morning, right after I work out on an empty stomach, creates enough distance between that completed eating and bedtime where I have almost no digestion processes going on in my body. Therefore, my resting heart rate goes very low. And when my resting heart rate is very low, I sleep with high quality. And so basically, I've been trying to optimize the entirety of what I eat to my sleep quality. And my sleep quality then, of course, feeds into my willpower, so it creates this virtuous cycle. And so at 8:30, what I do is I eat what I call super veggie, which is it's a pudding of 250 grams of broccoli, 150 grams of cauliflower, and a whole bunch of other vegetables. That I eat what I call nutty pudding, which is
you make the pudding yourself, like what do you call it? Like a veggie mix, whatever thing. Like a blender?
High-speed
blender.
You can be made in a high-speed blender. But basically, I eat the same thing every day. A veggie bowl in the form of pudding, and then a bowl in the form of nuts. And then I have...
vegan.
Vegan, yes.
Vegan. So that's fat, and that's like... that's fat and carbs, and that's the protein and so on.
Then I have
Does it taste good?
I love it. I love it so much, I dream about it.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. This is
And then I have a third dish, which is it changes every day. Today it was kale and spinach and sweet potato. And then I take about 20 supplements that hopefully constitute a perfect nutritional profile. So what I'm trying to do is create the perfect diet for my body every single day.
Where sleep is part of the optimization.
That's right.
You're like one of the things you're really tracking. I mean, I have a million questions, but 20 supplements, like what kind would you say are essential? Because I only take athleticgreens.com/Lex. That's like the multivitamin essentially. Yeah. That's like the lazy man, like if you don't actually want to think about shit, that's what you take. And then fish oil, and that's it. That's all I take.
Yeah. Alfred North Whitehead said, civilization advances as it extends the number of important operations it can do without thinking about them.
Yes.
And so my objective on this is I want an algorithm for perfect health that I never have to think about. Yeah. And then I want that system to be scalable to anybody so that they don't have to think about it. And right now it's expensive for me to do it. It's time consuming for me to do it. And I have infrastructure to do it. But the future of being human is not going to the grocery store and deciding what to eat. It's also not reading scientific papers trying to decide this thing or that thing. It's all N of one. It's devices on the outside and inside your body assessing real time what your body needs and then creating closed loop systems for that to happen.
Yeah. So right now you're doing the data collection and you're being the scientist. It'd be much better if you're doing if you just did the data collect, or it was being essentially done for you, and you can outsource that to another scientist that's doing the N-of-1 study of you.
That's right. Because every time I spend time thinking about this or spending time on it, I'm spending less time thinking about building kernel or the future of being human. And so we just all have the budget of our capacity on an everyday basis, and we will scaffold our way up out of this. And so, hopefully what I'm doing is it serves as a model that others can also build on. That's why I wrote about it, is hopefully people can then take it and improve upon it. I hold nothing sacred. I change my diet almost every day based upon some new test result or science or something like that. But
can you maybe elaborate on the sleep thing? Why is sleep so important? And why, presumably, what does good sleep mean to you?
I think sleep is a contender for being the most powerful health intervention in existence. It's a contender. I mean, it's magical what it does if you're well rested and what your body can do. And I mean, for example, I know when I eat close to my bedtime, and I've done a systematic study for years, looking at 15-minute increments on time of day on where I eat my last meal, my willpower is directly correlated to the amount of deep sleep I get. So my ability to not binge eat at night when Rascal Brian's out and about is based upon how much deep sleep I got the night before.
Yeah.
And so
there's a lot to that. Yeah.
And so I've seen it manifest itself. And so I think the way I'd summarize this is, in society, we've had this myth of, we tell stories, for example, of entrepreneurship, where this person was so amazing, they stayed at the office for 3 days and slept under their desk.
Yeah.
And we say, wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. And now I think we're headed towards a state where we'd say that's primitive and really not a good idea on every level. And so the new mythology is going to be the exact opposite.